Hey everybody, Alex Kozora, SteelersDepot.com here to bring you another video. I know it's been a while since we've done a video, but obviously I wanted to give my thoughts on the Le'Veon Bell situation. Was on the podcast today, Dave and Dave hopped on, so definitely check them out to hear their thoughts on everything that happened yesterday and everything that's going to happen in the future of Le'Veon Bell. But if you saw me on Twitter, you probably have already read a lot of these thoughts, but I want to do a video format of it. It's probably going to be more of an incoherent, rambly mess than Twitter, but if you don't have Twitter, you didn't see my thoughts there. I wanted to kind of give it in one place and put it on Steelers Depot. I think off the top, the thing I have to say is, putting aside blame on the Steelers or Bell or whoever you want to put blame on, I think this is all just so stupid. I mean, these were two sides that wanted to come together for 2 years now, probably even longer. And after all that negotiation, after all that back and forth, after all that hope and sincere good faith, negotiations, you walk away with nothing. And that's so depressing and stupid and so uncommon in Pittsburgh. And again, you can blame the Steelers for not coming up high enough, or Bell for not going down low enough. Putting that aside, it's just dumb that both sides, clearly wanted to get this deal done. It didn't happen, and now 2018 will be Bell's final year in Pittsburgh. I'm pretty confident in that, as I'm sure you are as well. So just off the top, big picture, so dumb that it just could not happen, because clearly both sides wanted it to happen, and you just couldn't come together on the money value. For the money itself, Steelers have reportedly offered 5 years, $70 million. That would be $14 million per year. Bell said in the past he wouldn't take less than $14.5 million, so there's one issue there. Guarantee is probably a bigger sticking point as well. Again, the average yearly value is a nice number to look at, but it's not like the MLB, it's not like the NBA where contracts are fully guaranteed off the jump. The only thing guaranteed in an NFL contract is literally the guaranteed portion, the signing bonus, and anything else that's explicitly labeled as guaranteed money. So I think Ian Rappaport reported at $33 million over 5 years. I don't quite remember how that compares to last year. I think it's pretty similar, so that definitely could have been an issue for Bell as well. And yes, it's fair to say that Bell's being selfish and greedy, and he got a fair offer from Pittsburgh. I don't disagree with any of that, but it's Bell's decision and his prerogative if he wants to bet on himself, as he has the last 2 seasons, and think that if he hits the open market, he can get more than that. And I agree with him. If Bell has the type of season that he's had previously, he's going to get basically what he's asking for on the open market, whether that's $16, $17 million. I'm pretty confident in that. It's simple economics. If you have, more teams coming after you, a bigger demand, then your price is going to go up. So if some team comes in there and says, we'll give you 15 million, and Bell goes to team B and says they're offering me 15 million, what can you do? Maybe team B is going to offer 16 million, and then team A comes back and offers 16 and a half, and you get the idea. So the Steelers got pretty close. They offered reportedly 14 million. You can't tell me that some team like a San Francisco or a Cleveland or a Detroit or whoever can't offer a couple million more than where the Steelers were at. And if they're a team that has 50 million in cap space, you can't tell me that some team's not gonna cave, I guess is the word, and give in to Bell's demands, because guys like that do not get on the market very often, and that is a guy that you can build an offense around. And he's going to be worth that definitely in some team's mind. So if he has the season that you expect him to have, he's going to get paid that money, no question in my mind. Also, no question in my mind that this Steelers team, that assuming Bell's gone, is going to be undeniably worse without Le'Veon Bell. Now, does that mean that they can't win a Super Bowl without Le'Veon Bell? Does that mean they can't be successful? Does that mean they can't win an AFC North crown? They can do all those things. They could still be a good team. They could still, try to replace Bell and find someone, that brings some level of that. But they're not going to be a better team, at least offensively, without Le'Veon Bell. I'm sorry, that's just wrong if you think so. And yes, you could argue put that money in the defense and improve there, and they could, and they probably will. But they weren't mutually exclusive things. You could still improve the defense, mainly through the draft, which is how this team does it 90% of the time, while keeping Le'Veon Bell and keeping that core in place. And we've said it before, 2018 is probably the Steelers' last best chance at winning a Super Bowl. Not their only chance entirely, but last year Bell, Ben's getting older, AB's already 30. Are you going to have a better roster in 2 or 3 years from now than you do today? I think those odds are pretty low unless you really hit on some gems in the draft that we don't quite know about yet. So, this is kind of the all-in situation for the Steelers right now. Again, they could still win down the road. The Super Bowl window does not shut when Bell's gone, but it gets tighter. I think there should be no debate about that at all. How do they replace Bell? The tough part is that it's going to be difficult to get a look at Jalen Samuels, at James Conner this season because Bell's still going to play 90-95% of the snaps like he usually would in a season. So how comfortable can you be with Conner and Samuels? Apologize, there was a message on my headset there. How comfortable can you be with Conner and Samuels not having a huge idea of the number of snaps that they're going to take? They're playing 100 or so snaps this year, maybe. Are you going to be comfortable enough to say that they're going to be the guy? So you're probably going to go with some sort of mid-level free agent, whether that's a Mark Ingram or Ty Montgomery or Alex Collins is going to be an RFA after this year. I have a whole article up on Steelers Depot that goes through some possible options of who the Steelers could be could go after the season. Tevin Coleman from Atlanta is probably going to be the most popular name. And your draft is obviously going to be an option as well. And I'm not too well versed on the draft class this year, but there's going to be some names out there as well. So it'll be interesting. It's hard to say exactly what direction the Steelers are going to go in. I'm sure they don't even know exactly what direction this team's going to go in. It'll be partly based on what Conner and Samuel show this year. Again, I think it's going to be a little bit tough because they're just not going to get a lot of snaps. And can you go from playing 100 snaps to believing those guys can be your every down workhorse guy? Going to be tougher to do. You have the idea of a committee, and that's what a lot of teams do. We've seen New England and Philly that gets talked about a lot. That those teams have committees and they can make it work. And yeah, that's possible, but that's really more at a necessity than a desire for a committee like that. I bet you if you give those teams a true workhorse back, they'll take him over the committee every single time. Because when you have that committee, you get limited by whoever's on the field. So if you have like a pass catcher on the field, maybe you're limited in what you can call in the run game. If you have a first down, quote unquote, back, or a run first type back, maybe that limits you in terms of what you can do as a receiver. So like James Conner, for example, can't be used in the same way in the passing game that Le'Veon Bell can, even if you get similar-ish production as a runner. Your playbook and your play calls shrink when you have a committee on the field, or one guy of a committee on the field, as opposed to Bell, where you have complete confidence in what he can do. And again, just to look at the value of Le'Veon Bell, a guy that can run, can catch, can block, can line up anywhere on the field, and play at a high level while playing an insane volume of snaps, playing 90% of the time, something no other back in the league does in this era anymore. It's a unicorn to try to see and try to find. That's really tough to replace. You're not just replacing Le'Veon Bell, you're replacing like 1,000 quality snaps that Bell offers you, and that's really difficult to do. It's difficult to do with just one guy. It's difficult to try to hit on with just one draft pick or one free agent signing, and it is, I think, going to hurt. I mean, it undeniably is going to make the Steelers' offense worse. Again, can they overcome it? Sure, they can still win, be successful without Le'Veon Bell. I'm not saying that they can't be, but are they going to be worse off, and is it going to be more difficult without Le'Veon Bell? Absolutely. And again, Ben another year older, AB another year older. Whatever else happens with this offense, who knows what things are going to look like. Hopefully Vance McDonald steps up. But if he doesn't step up, I mean, you could go down the rabbit hole and be a little cynical and say that, some bad things that could happen this year and some things that are inevitable with Ben's age and AB's age and all that. And have some real concerns now with the Steelers offense and a defense that who knows if they make the jump. Hopefully, but really no idea. We'll find out after this year with guys like Dupree and Artie Burns and Sean Davis, big make or break years for them. But if things go sideways, if those guys don't develop properly, then you're still focusing on the defense. You're trying to replace Bell. I mean, now you have a lot of holes on this team. So I don't want to be too cynical about that, but I just want to make it very clear that even if you think that Bell wanted too much and he was being too greedy, I mean, that's fine, but you still have to admit and accept that no Bell makes this team a whole lot worse, and that replacing him is going to be difficult to do. So I just want to make that point pretty clear. I think that's all the thoughts I wanted to give. I wanted to keep this video relatively short. I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, but I just want to get my overall thoughts. It's disappointing that this deal did not get done for as much as both sides wanted this deal to get done, and that this team's going to be worse off without Le'Veon Bell. Replacing him's going to be tough, and it's unclear exactly where that replacement's going to come from. There'll be some tough decisions made based on what Connor does this year, what Samuels does this year, the free agent market, and balancing that with the draft pick as well. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Curious to get your thoughts on the whole Bell saga. I know I've talked to you guys a lot already about it, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll talk to you soon.